Have you ever had this situation where you've had a busy day, you're exhausted, you cannot wait to get into that bed of yours, and you get into bed, and all of a sudden the light bulb is on. You cannot sleep, your heart is racing, all the thoughts from the day flooding your mind, the endless to-do list is coming at you like nonstop, and you're wondering, when am I going to ever get to sleep? Listen, this is something that is extremely common. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 10-minute decompression protocol that is going to help you fall asleep fast. Hi, I'm Dr. Funke Afolabi-Brown. I'm the founder of the Restful Sleep Place and Restful Sleep MD. And really, our goal is to empower you to sleep well so that you and your family can thrive and reach your fullest potential. Now, when it comes to insomnia, one of the most common symptoms that people complain about is mind racing, right? And honestly, you might not even have chronic insomnia. You might just have this really busy mind that makes it really hard for you to shut down, especially either as parents, even as kids, our teenagers. A lot of people experience this. And so one of the reasons why that is happening, not the only reason, but one of the most common reasons that I see in my practice is this inability to disconnect from the day as you get into the night. So think about it. You've been running all day. You've been trying to, solve world problems, do all kinds of things, running errands, taking the kids up and down, finishing up emails, all those kind of things. And now, maybe you've put the kids to bed, you've done all the dishes, whatever it is. You now have this state where all those processed or unprocessed emotions are coming at you like a lot, a mile a minute. And so that makes it hard for you to fall asleep. Just think about it. All those thoughts, all those feelings, all those emotions that you didn't address, really just still in your subconscious and kind of giving this energy, that's buzzing energy that makes it really hard for you to wind down, hard for you to sleep. So this protocol is literally based on cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia strategies, which is one of the tools that I use to help my patients with insomnia. But I've made it very sort of compressed so that you can run with it, or maybe not run with it. I don't want you running at night, but sleep with it, so that the goal is that you're falling asleep faster. So I want you to take a pen and paper and write these things down. And I want you to start to practice it tonight. And this is the thing. This is the thing about the tips I share on this channel. I want them to be things that you don't need to go doing some research, creating some kind of thing. Literally just start tonight. And yes, you're welcome, because I can guarantee you with this, you will absolutely be able to fall asleep so quickly. And then you want to hang around to the very end, because it's important for you to know how exactly to implement these strategies, not just what the strategies are. So number one is, remember I told you it's a 10-minute decompression protocol. So within 10 minutes. So number one is gratitude, right? We're going to break this down. Gratitude is so key. There's something that changes. There's a dynamic that changes when you practice gratitude before bed. So how does that look like in real life? We said about 3 minutes. Remember, I said it's 10 minutes. So we'll spend about 3 minutes on this phase. Again, if you're somebody who's super busy, and if you're someone who has time and you want to make it even longer, you please do it. But I would rather you do 10 minutes than not do it at all. So find a very comfortable position. Maybe you have a chair in your room. Maybe you have like a nice recliner or a couch, whatever. And I would rather, if you could do it in your bedroom, this is great because you're close to bed, because you will start to feel so relaxed that I want you to be able to get to bed quickly. So you find a nice spot, relax, your feet on the ground, and take some 3 deep breaths, right? Those 3 deep breaths. Get comfortable. Then the next thing I want you to do is reflect on 3 things that you're thankful for that happened that day. This does not have to be complex. It could be either a moment, it could be a person, it could be maybe an experience, right? So maybe something happened to you, right? So maybe somebody said something that was very thoughtful, or you had a deep and meaningful connection or conversation with someone, or it could be that you got a chance to take a nap, or you got a chance to just walk outside during lunch break, or you had an amazing lunch break, or you had an amazing lunch. Find what it is. I want you to connect with those things as you reflect on it, and you can write it down. I like to write. I always say have a journal. So write those 3 things down And I want you to now internalize the feeling of gratitude. So it's one thing to be grateful. It's one thing to sit and say, wow, my goodness, I am thankful that this happened. I am thankful that, I got to connect with my teenage son. I am thankful that, I got to eat, pretty wholesome food today, even though I was really tempted to grab the junk food, right? Just write it, internalize it. What does that feel like in your body? And this will move you from a place where you feel so stressed and hardwired to just a grounding, like you just kind of feel yourself dropping into your body. So that's number one, gratitude. Number two is organize tomorrow, right? There's something about the reason why I'm saying this is I know so many of you out there, many of the people that I see, that I work with in my practice are saying, I can't shut it down. I can't shut it down. I can't shut it down. Organizing tomorrow is a strategy. Now that's another 3 minutes. So we just took off 3 minutes for gratitude, 3 minutes to organize. What does that look like? Have a list, right? Have your journal. And what I want you to do is capture the priorities for the next day, right? You should probably maybe have this plan from the beginning of the week, but you don't have to, whatever. This is where you are right now. You want to make sure that you capture those things that are going to happen tomorrow so that it doesn't rent space in your mind overnight, right? So what does that look like? Okay, you got to grab the laundry. You got to have, you have to drop your child at recital, whatever it is, right? Just capture those things. You need to remember to send an email. So put that down and really confirm your first activity for the day. Make sure that maybe you don't have a meeting at 8 a.m. or some weird time, which will determine when you need to get out of bed, right? So just make sure you have that captured. Again, 3 minutes. This is going to be a game changer. Now, here's the piece that is really going to rock your world and really put those racing minds to sleep, literally and figuratively. I want you, after you've done that, you kind of, sort of put down the things that potentially may lurk in my mind and make me feel like I got to do this, I got to do this. I put it down on paper. This is what I want you to do. I want you to close that book and I want you to say this mantra. And you can create another mantra if that sounds too cheesy for you. That mantra is, I have noted what needs to be done tomorrow. Now I am ready to rest. It sounds long, but I want you to practice it. I have noted what needs to be done tomorrow. Now I can rest, or now I get to rest, right? So making sure that you say this over and over again until you're used to it is going to change everything. It's telling your subconscious, we're good, we got this, there's a plan, it is okay. Okay, so that's the first thing. Remember, I said was gratitude. The second is organize. The third is relaxation. And here's where you give 4 minutes. If you can do it longer, that is perfect. If you only have 4 minutes, please do it. And what does that mean? Again, you want to make sure you're seated, or at this point, you might actually go into your bed and decide you want to lay down, right? And you want to take three meaningful, full, deep breaths, right? And then you can start a body scan. I love the body scan because, again, it's like allowing you to be present in that moment. So what is that? You're tensing and relaxing different muscle groups. You start with your toes, you tense, and I'm doing that right now. Of course, you can't see me, but you tense and you relax. You tense your feet, relax. Now you move up to like your ankle, you flex it, and extend it. You tense and relax. Then you go to your calves, tense and relax. You go to your knees, you go to your thighs. You're tensing the muscles as tight as you can, and you're letting go and relax. I tell you, this thing is so wild. I hardly ever get to my waist and I'm done. I'm off to bed because it's so relaxing. It is incredible. And as you're doing that, you're slowing your breath and you're sort of moving towards sleep, right? So you tense and relax and you move up, and if you're still awake, then you get to your face, you tense it and relax it. So you're doing that. If you're not asleep, you start all over again. You're paying attention to those sensations, really paying attention to those sensations. And it's really hard to pay attention to those sensations and have your mind spiraling. So that's the idea. It's really capturing all of the busyness. I'm dropping you into that moment. Or you can decide to just do some deep breathing, continuously deep breathing until you start to feel sleep come. Now, as you're doing that, those busy thoughts might come I don't want you to get violent with them. Just say, okay, okay. I have noted the things that need to be done tomorrow. Now I'm ready to sleep. You have to respond somehow. So repeat that mantra. That's why I said you want to have a mantra, something you remember, something you can say again and again to yourself to kind of calm down yourself. Right? So how do we do this? How do we succeed with this? Right? We've talked about gratitude. We've talked about organizing the next day. And then we've talked about relaxation, right? I'm telling you 10 minutes. So 3 minutes gratitude, 3 minutes organizing, and then 4 minutes of relaxation. How do you set yourself up for success? Here's the thing. You're busy. Everybody's busy. You're doing so many things. You're juggling so many balls. It's really hard to, maintain that zen. Consistency is key. And that's why I'm saying 10 minutes. That's why I'm not saying do this for 30 minutes. Because most people are like, well, you're telling me to have a bedtime routine. I can't. I don't have time. I don't have time. Okay. Do you have 10 minutes in 24 hours just to decompress? Because that will really change your life, right? So I'm sure you can find 10 minutes before bed to just be and just decompress. So that's really what the protocol about. It's about consistency. Don't focus on long prolonged duration of experiences. Let's focus on what we have and then build from there. So consistency is key. Another strategy I would say is, yes, when you're doing the organization, you may have more thoughts come up once you get into bed and you're ready to sleep. Here's what you do with the thoughts. You're going to have a pen and paper right by your bed. And if you notice that, okay, these thoughts are not necessarily leaving, it's still being like an issue, then you could just write whatever it is. It might be a to-do list, it might be a thought, it might be a worry. Just put it down and say, I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. So that's another thing that I would say that you can do to set yourself up for success, because you might not have been able to get rid of, not really get rid of, but really manage and write down all the thoughts. So if you still have some lurking, you really should write it down. And then the final thing I would say is really do this within the space of your bedroom. This is something that's super close. I usually will say, to set you up for success, super close to your bed, super close to your bedroom. So that way you can just transition. Once you do gratitude, you do the organize, you can just move relaxation into bed, or you can sit in the couch. And then once you're ready to sleep, you get into bed. Can I tell you, this is going to be a game changer? This strategy is what I teach executives, executive professionals, CEOs, people that are running multiple companies, and they just feel like their minds are constantly running. This strategy is what I use when I help busy moms, women, physicians, entrepreneurs, people who feel like they're juggling so many balls and they don't have time for themselves. So when you can practice this, put it consistently, practice the gratitude, the organization, and relaxation, it will help propel you to the place where you can actually finally wind down, help cut back on that mind racing, and help you to get the sleep you need. So imagine a situation where you have had your routine, you've put the kids in bed, you've done all the things, and now you get to just have that time to just be with a mind that's free of that constant spiral. And this is something that you can absolutely have as long as you just put this into practice. We're seeking progress, not perfection. And I know you can do this. Now, if you're looking for that extra help where you've done this, you're like, I've done all the strategies, it's not working, it might be time to see a sleep specialist like myself. And we offer customized, holistic care for families. So for men, for women, for children. And really our goal is to move you from tired, exhausted, drained, burnt out to thriving and reaching your fullest potential. So schedule a call with us, 215-607-8297, or visit our website at therestfulsleepplace.com. Listen, we look forward to being a part of your restful sleep journey. And until next time, I hope you rest well.